The sun rises over Lagos, casting its golden glow on the city's restless heart. At the market, rows of stalls stretch endlessly, each one alive with color. Vendors call out to passers-by, while women with baskets balanced gracefully on their heads weave through the crowd. Everywhere you look, the fabric glitters, bold reds, ocean blues, sunlit yellows, and deep greens arranged in neat stacks that seem to hum with unspoken stories. The air is thick with the smell of roasted corn, fried Ankara, and spices mixing with the faint scent of newly dyed cloth. African wax prints here are not just fabrics, they are living conversations. One pattern may tell of courtship, another of betrayal, while yet another whispers of hope and endurance. Buyers do not just choose cloth, they choose a statement, an identity, and sometimes even a declaration. In this marketplace, fabric is never just for covering the body. It is for unveiling the soul. Each purchase, each barter, is a step into a tapestry of memory, tradition, and resistance. The story of African wax cloth begins far from Lagos, in the colonial trade routes that brought Dutch and Indonesian batik techniques to West Africa. What began as foreign imports was soon transformed by African creativity into something entirely new. Nigerian, Ghanaian, and Ivorian traders adapted the designs, infused them with local meaning, and demanded brighter, bolder colors that mirrored the African spirit. By the 20th century, wax prints had ceased being colonial curiosities. They had become cultural cornerstones. In Lagos, these prints evolved into a canvas for resistance and identity. During the independence era, fabrics carried coded political messages that only locals could read. A swirl of repeated circles might symbolize unity, while a sharp angular design could represent breaking free from chains. Wearing such prints became an act of defiance, a silent protest woven into cotton. Today, the history is stitched into every garment sold in the market. To own a piece is to inherit a story that stretches across oceans, empires, and generations. To the untrained eye, a wax print may appear as nothing more than a decorative pattern. But for those who know, each design carries layers of meaning. A cloth with interlocking rings can symbolize love, fidelity, and eternal union. Another with sharp, jagged motifs might hint at turmoil or challenge, a warning to tread carefully. These symbols speak loudly in communities where verbal expressions of love, loyalty, or resistance may not always be safe. In Lagos, families pass down knowledge of these symbols like heirlooms. Mothers teach daughters which fabric to wear for weddings, which pattern signals mourning, and which one offers protection. Vendors in the market act not just as sellers, but as interpreters, translating fabric into story. A man buying cloth for his wife may be choosing between expressing devotion or reconciliation. In every fold, every motif, there lies a message, sometimes private, sometimes public, but always deeply human. If wax cloth is a language, then women are often its greatest poets. In Lagos markets, women dominate the fabric trade, from sellers who expertly fold and display their goods to tailors who transform flat cloth into living garments. These women do more than sell material. They narrate stories with their choices, guiding buyers to fabrics that best express their emotions or intentions. Through their hands, cloth becomes testimony. A bride stepping into marriage might wear a design that represents harmony and fertility, her dress whispering blessings into her future. Mothers wrapping infants in patterned fabric are not just dressing them, they are swaddling them in heritage. The authority of women in the wax print economy shows that fabric is not merely a commodity, it is a cultural inheritance carried and curated by those who understand its deepest codes. African wax prints have long carried political weight. During the independence struggles across West Africa, fabrics became a medium for coded dissent. Leaders' faces were printed onto cloth, transforming everyday garments into banners of loyalty. At times when public demonstrations were too dangerous, wearing such cloth was itself an act of courage, a bold proclamation of allegiance or rebellion. In Lagos, the tradition continues. During elections, campaign prints flood the markets, bright colors bearing the likeness of candidates, their slogans woven into patterns. Yet beyond politics, fabrics also challenge systems subtly. A design mocking corruption may circulate quietly, its satire obvious only to those who know the code. In this way, the cloth functions as both shield and sword. It protects messages in beauty, yet strikes with truth against power. For many Lagosians, fashion is not simply about style, it is about identity. When a person walks into a party wearing bold Ankara prints, they are making a declaration of belonging. Each color and design is a badge of pride, signaling not only individual taste but also cultural allegiance. To wear wax print is to say, I am part of this story, this community, this history. Tailors across Lagos breathe life into this identity. They cut and stitch cloth into elaborate agbadas, flowing bubus, or sharp contemporary suits. At weddings and funerals, entire families dress in matching prints, a practice known as aso ebi, family cloth. This collective wearing not only strengthens family bonds, but also transforms gatherings into visual symphonies of unity. Fashion here is not vanity, it is a visible statement of heritage and pride. The influence of African wax cloth has spilled far beyond Lagos markets. On global runways, designers from Paris to New York borrow boldly from these prints, showcasing them in high fashion collections. Celebrities wear Ankara dresses on red carpets, and the world applauds the exotic designs. Yet for Lagosians, these prints are not trends, they are lifelines, rooted in everyday life. This global embrace raises questions of ownership and authenticity. Who gets to profit from the stories woven into African cloth? In Lagos, the answer remains clear. The true power of wax prints lies not in fashion houses, but in the hands of the people who live them daily. While global threads may shine on international stages, their roots remain firmly planted in the vibrant soil of African culture. As the day closes in the Lagos market, vendors fold their remaining fabrics, and children run through the stalls laughing. The colors soften in the evening light, yet they still glow with meaning. Each fabric that leaves the market will begin a new journey, some to weddings, some to protests, some across oceans. The market is more than a place of trade. It is a loom weaving countless human stories together. African wax cloth is a living tapestry, never static. It evolves with time, responding to changing politics, shifting fashions, and new generations who add their own interpretations. Yet through all these changes, its essence remains constant. It is identity stitched into fabric, a language of pride and belonging spoken without words. In Lagos and across Africa, the cloth continues to remind us that to wear it is not just to cover oneself, it is to declare who you are.